Hi, I am Kajeron 2 Crutches, and today we'll be talking about the Ixon RS Hunt 2. So, Ixon is not actually a very well-known brand in Portugal, and I guess where you're from it's most likely also not very well known. But Ixon does sponsor a few motorcycle riders in MotoGP, one of those is Portuguese, so I guess they kind of know what they're doing. So you can buy with confidence from this particular brand. So what are these RS Hunt 2 gloves? These are some city gloves, mid-range city gloves, or actually high-range city gloves, and that's the catch. City gloves are usually cheaper. They're designed to be discreet, hence it's all black. To be discreet, to not look out of sorts if it's on top of a desk at an office. It's not a full gauntlet with bright red and bright blue and bright yellow. No, it's just a leather black glove which doesn't look weird on top of a desk on the office. So they're designed for this, discreet, practical, simple, and cheap. Because these are for in-city commuting. You're not going to crash at 300 kilometers per hour, so they're designed for crashes at lower speeds, for that big hit on the ground when a car topples you over, things like that. So usually city gloves are the cheaper part of motorcycle gloves. And these, on the other hand, at 60 euros, around that, are on the most expensive side of the city gloves. So for a motorcycle glove, 60 euros is not a lot. It's actually one of the cheapest ones. But on the city gloves, it's one of the most expensive. And why? We'll see that right now. Let's move front to back on the glove. So, right off the bat, you can see you do not have anything here protecting the first flange from your fingers. But you do have protectors, very discreet ones, just these little bumps. On the first three fingers, the little finger has nothing. Then you have knuckle protectors, actually double stitched on that's cool. You have this little foam thing to help the glove bend, and it gives some impact protection, but it's nothing relevant. And you have this perforated leather here for ventilation. You have a slightly thinner cuff, and you have a short cuff and a Velcro closure. On the front, we have this pad here, which is to improve grip on the handlebars, because usually full leather gloves sometimes have this tendency to slip on the leather, on the handlebars. So this helps on that. It's a non-slip surface. This is also goat leather, by the way, I forgot to say. And you have this foam pad here, which I'm a very big fan of, because this will protect the ball of your hand from the very first impact, which is usually like this. And it's exactly where your hand is going to hit the ground. It's spot on. And you have this big piece of extra leather here, a reinforcement on top of the glove, which is also on top of this part, which is likely this section here is probably overlapping all the way this way. So this section actually has 3 layers of leather for protection, because when you crash, this is the part that hits the ground. And it's also double stitched all the way around, and then there's a trio of stitches here trying to keep it in place in the event of a crash. So you can see that for a city glove, it actually has a lot of protection. It's not very usual to see city gloves with all of this. They're usually not full leather. They usually don't have any kind of protectors on the fingers. This one still has these, at least. They don't usually have anything on the palm, or very little on the palm. This is a bit more usual, some foam here. This has that. There's no special protection on the thumb, just the leather itself. So in terms of protection for a city glove, it's actually quite good. It's CE certified, obviously. It's CE. The certification for the glove itself is level 1, but the certification for the impact is level 2, and it's level 1 for the glove itself, because level 2 requires the cuff to be a long cuff. And since these are designed to be short, simple, and practical, and discreet, they're short cuffed. So they can only be certified as level 1, no matter the rest of the glove. So all in all, it is a good protective glove, simple, light, and cheap. Very nice. It also has one feature, which is this pad here, which is for the cell phone. However, I'm not very fond of the cell phone pad, simply because, and I forgot my cell phone to show you, simply because of this. Who is the savage who uses his cell phone with this part of the finger? We use the cell phone with this part of the finger, here where the stitching is. If I had a cell phone, which I might ask my son, which is behind the camera, to bring it over. Come on, son, you'll be famous. Let's try not to put some information here. Oh, that's going on YouTube.
That's Kanye.
Who is the idiot who, oh, thanks for not unlocking. Let's try to figure out the pin. So I'm going to try to figure out the pin of this. Who is the idiot who uses like this? It just doesn't go away. It just doesn't work. It's frankly retarded. It's not the way we use it with the fingertip. However, if you're keen on it, you can see the fingertip is actually working. So this actually works better than expected. Why? Because since the liner is so thin, my finger, my skin is in contact with the leather, which then passes that conductivity back to the cell phone, so the cell phone can feel the touch. So it's not really that bad, but this stitching here makes it a bit awkward. It could be better, okay? Ixon, here is stupid. Move this a few centimeters over and make it like this, all the way around the finger. Oh, and do it on the thumb also, please. We need to open and close because of Google Maps, okay? Cool, we need to pinch and zoom. Okay, that's it. That's the only thing I don't like about these gloves. Other than that, they're great day-to-day gloves if you don't need the extra protection. If you're going to a circuit, no. It's important that when you buy these, so you don't get disappointed, you know what these are not. They are not track gloves. These are not going to work on a track because they don't have enough protection, and if you crash at high speed on a track, you will be sorry. These are not touring gloves. I took these on my trip to the Portuguese end-to-end, 400 and something or 500 kilometers in one go on a bike, and by the time of the first refueling stop, after being on the bike like a couple of hours, I was in pain. Nothing that removing it and moving your fingers around for a bit doesn't fix, but it's not a glove for that. It will work, but it's not a glove for that. That's what the touring gloves are for. They're comfortable for long stretches. This is comfortable for short stretches. The stitching starts digging into your skin after a few hours. They're also not waterproof, so they're not winter gloves, and they're too hot for summer gloves. They're kind of springtime gloves. So the air goes in through this, flows under the knuckles, comes out the back, so it does cool off your hand a bit, so it's not super hot. It's kinda cool, it works. And in cold weather, it's a bit too cold, so it works between 15 Celsius and 30 Celsius at most. At 30 Celsius, it'll be a hot glove. But you can also write, open your fingers and let the air in to cool off a little bit. So they're that nice in between. They're not for everything, but they can do a bit of everything. And for a cheap city glove, that's actually pretty nice. I like them quite a lot, as long as it's not raining. So that's it. Cager out.